Hey, my name is Lindsay Bailey and I live in Thomasville, Georgia. I make lots and lots of banners. I teach classes to all ages, and I have a website where you can see all the things I make. I also host a blog where I post about once a month. And I have the cutest cat in the world named Rigby. Today I'm going to teach you about finger weaving. Okay, so I am going to show you how I cast on for finger weaving. I've been finger weaving now for about, 10 years, 20 years. If you count when I actually learned it, I learned how to finger weave in 4th grade, so I was 9 years old. And I don't know, so let's see. So I like to finger weave with two different strands of yarn, and I like to use a thicker yarn and a thinner yarn because I think it actually adds a little bit of dimension to the actual finished finger woven cord. So how I cast on is I open my left hand, and I apologize, my hands are completely stained with black paint. I am a full-time school teacher, and it's just what happens, man. It's part of the game. But so my left hand, I always finger weave with my left hand, and I teach all of my students to finger weave with their left hand, regardless of whether they write with their right hand or write with their left hand. So we start with our left hands, and we open them up completely so that I can see all of your fingers clearly. And then I put the tail of my string in my between my thumb and my pointer finger. I leave the yarn on the skeins because I don't know how long I might want to make my finger weaving, so I just leave it all connected. The yarn shrinks up quite a bit when you are finger weaving, so it's just best to keep it on the skein. That way you can make it as long as possible. So you've got your tail in between your thumb and pointer finger. Then I figure eight through my fingers easily and slowly, and then I go back through my fingers, figure eight, and then lay my string like so, my yarn like so. Then what I like to do when I'm teaching people is I call the piece that I've laid over my fingers loose, and I call the one that is already figure eighted around my fingers the tight one. So what you want to do is you want to pull tight over loose. So you're going to be, and that's what causes the weaving part. So you will do the tight over loose, which is what I'm doing now. So tight over loose, tight over loose, tight over loose. And then you want to open that up, pull it a little bit with the string that's been formed through the finger weaving part, and then you want to do it again. Tight over loose, tight over loose, tight over loose, tight over loose. You want to keep going tight over loose until you have a long enough tail or a long enough finger weaving that you're happy with. So I'm going to keep doing this, and we'll speed it up so that you can see kind of how it starts to grow. Still going, still going. One thing I will say while we're doing this is that if you come to a place where you have missed a loop or you've done only one, okay, just let it go. Keep going around, come back around, and now you see that you have 3. So you want to take the whole 3 and pull it over the loose one. So tight over loose. We're still doing tight over loose, tight over loose, tight over loose. You can make this as long as you want. You can see that it's starting to get nice and thick. I've dropped my blue one somehow, but I will pick it back up as I go around. Okay, and it just keeps adding in to the weaving. See? The only part you see the missing blue is here, but that's okay. You can see that it's getting actually quite long now. What I like to do is I like to keep finger weaving until I have a really long strand. And then what I use the strand for is I use it to double up and make a scarf out of, because you will notice that this yarn is actually really super warm, especially this orange stuff. It's soft and warm, and you can make the most gorgeous scarves out of them, out of this yarn. So usually what happens now at this place is I will cut this strand here and show you how to end it, okay? So it's not very big because I'm just doing this as an example to show you. And I leave a little bit here. You can see it's fairly long that I use then to weave back in. So I go over the tight one, under the tight one, and over the tight one, and under the tight one. And that, see how it's pulling all of it together? That's how it will tighten up. Okay, so then I slide it off of my fingers, and boom, it is knotted and not going anywhere. You can go back and touch it. It's actually a pretty strong little cord that you've woven. So you guys just figure out what you want to make out of finger weaving. And more soon. Thanks.